Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hall of Fame. This is Bruce, Commander Garrett, and of course, want to thank our many viewers who are watching the World Center Broadcast Media. And boy, I'm really excited about my guest today, none other than my course wonderful pastor and Pastor BJ. How you doing?
Doing well.
Should I say honor by saying doctor?
Doctor, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
It's so wonderful to have you here today. We're going to be talking about, for all of you out there watching the World Center Broadcast Media, first of all, I know you had just a short time to see the facility and to share it with you. And in this short training, what do you feel a little bit about here at the World Center Broadcast Media, WCOVM?
I think it's a great setup, and I'm really excited about your growth into various new markets. And it makes a lot of sense to have one conduit that pushes to all the different medias at the same time.
Yes, I saw you experience that with the Facebook part.
Yeah.
Pretty fascinated. One of the wonderful things that I want to start off first is getting a little bit of the wonderful experience and knowledge of your biography. So you have been in the ministry and you've been at the Advantage. Tell our audience about that and our church and members and all who are watching the program.
Sure. Well, my journey has been a long one, but a blessed one. I've been in ministry now 25 years and been here in Las Vegas about 3. Been most of the time in pastoral ministry, but also we've done some time in doing seminars,
yes,
traveling around doing lectures and seminars and so forth. And so we just now are wanting to move into a new phase that we talked about, and we'll get more into in just a moment. My journey has been day to day, the Lord leads us and blesses us. We learn and we grow. I'm really enjoying ministry. I really enjoy the interacting with people. I enjoy bringing them and showing them new hope that they didn't know existed, and
yes,
seeing the transformation in their life. That's the joy that I have in ministry.
You know, before we get and talking about some of the great part, in your wonderful journey in getting your doctorate, what was that written about and what inspired you in that journey to make that final phase?
It was quite a journey.
Yes, I bet it is.
It was supposed to be 5 years and it ended up taking me 9 years. But in that journey, I grew a tremendous amount. And out of that journey, I developed the vision that we'll talk about a little later on. But my passion, my doctorate was in preaching. And my passion was to get people to hear the Bible story and to get them into the story that they really don't know. People think they know but don't know the Bible story and how rich it is and how wonderful it is. And to preach that story and to give them supplemental materials to read and to go deeper and to learn and to grow and to have a cross application to what does this guy in the Old Testament have to do with me? What can I learn from him? So my doctorate really was in learning more about homiletics, more about preaching, and my dissertation was in specifically designing a sermon strategy to get people into the Bible and to reading more about the richness of the story, the background of the story, not just the story itself. And so we called that whole experience the Faith of Our Fathers, the whole sermon series strategy. And then, of course, when we talk a bit later, we'll talk about how that's morphed into something bigger now.
You know, the reason I asked that, and by the way, for those out there watching, you're listening to watching the Hall of Fame. You know, tell everybody the church background that you're related to.
Sure. Well, I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist faith in a Christian home, and going to church every week. My parents taught me Christian values, and so I grew up in that experience and that environment. When I got into college, I took a break and actually was a missionary in South America for a little while. And in that journey, kind of found myself and found my center.
Yes.
Came back and went into the work to actually serve the Lord. Interesting background story. I fought going into ministry. That seemed like the furthest thing I ever wanted to do.
Wow.
And my mom has a story that she tells. And when I was a little boy, I got shot in the mouth with a BB gun. It was an incredible story how they went through I was missing a tooth and the BB went in that hole and lodged in my tongue, and
Goodness.
it was quite an ordeal. But when we went to the hospital to get the BB out, They ran all these kind of tests, and they found that in the blood work that I had leukemia. And my father was in the Navy, so he was away at a ship off in the Mediterranean, so my mom was by herself. And so she had a prayer, the prayer of Hannah, that if you'd heal my boy, that she would dedicate me to the Lord. And it was a miracle. God healed me. And so from a little boy, my mom was always saying, "You're going to go in the ministry, you're going to go in the ministry." And I was like, "No, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not." So I fought it, but really I found my peace and my joy when I followed the path that God had laid for me. And visiting with people, nurturing them, encouraging them, connecting them with grace, connecting them with hope has been one of the best experiences in my life. And I personally have experienced that in my journey, in the truth of the Seventh-day Adventist faith, but more importantly in the walking with Christ in the daily walk, experiencing His grace and experiencing His joy. And that's my purpose and my goal, is to try to give direction to people in this lost world, because there's a lot of people out there discouraged, and there's a great hope that can be found.
I had one of the questions that was asked of me earlier was to make sure you ask, in today's environment where everybody is feeling so lost, and now what is it like being a pastor, period? And at the end of some time when you do your message, you just did a long series on the 10th commandment of breaking that down at Mountain View Church here in Las Vegas. But what is it like for you at the end of that? Do you feel the results of some of your messages?
Well, the world really is in a unique place. There, discouragement, despondency, division. We see it in our government. We see it all around us. And so when people come, what we want to provide is a place of solace, an oasis, if you will, and showing them things they didn't know, showing them that there's hope, showing them that there's a place that they can come to find direction.
Yeah.
And that's really what this new ministry will be all about, is giving guidance and giving direction to really people that are kind of lost and bewildered, not really knowing what the day's going to bring, not knowing what the future is going to bring. So yes, people are very much in that condition, and there's also jaded people who are like, "I don't want anything to do with that." But again, I want to give them a sample so that they see the sweetness and the goodness of what can be. And I believe that one of the joys is seeing that transformation. It's nothing that I do, but when they connect with the truth of the Bible, when they connect to Jesus, when they connect to the hope, they see that transformation from despondency to direction, from despair to hope, from feeling that they're lost to feeling that they're saved. That transformation changes their whole life. It changes their outlook. It changes their positive personality and gives them joy. And it's that really feeds the ministry today, seeing that transformation that can happen in someone's life.
One last question, then we're going to get down to what we want to talk about, that you're in the outreach, because one of the things here, and those of you out there watching live, if you want to, you can go to your computer or your smartphone. If you have a question you'd like to ask, just go to wcobm.tv and just type in your comment, and we'll be glad to see if we can get the Dr. BJ to answer this question. This question here was just strictly what's about is the people, well, we're near the end time. That's how I would sum that up. They said it hurt a long time, but what is some of that? Are we near those times?
You don't even need a Bible to know that we're in trouble sometimes. And people know that something's going wrong. They see the environment going upside down. They see the politics, the geopolitics, and the turmoil. They see the division of religions. They see the battles and wars and terrorism. And so even without the wisdom of the Bible, people know that something's happening in today's world. But in the Bible itself, God gave us this book to give us instructions and to give us assurance about what will happen. He wants us to know the times we're in, to know that very soon He will come. And when you go through all of them, Matthew 24, and there's other places, all of the different signs, all of them are happening right now to show us that we're living in the last days. And God doesn't do that to scare us. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind, 2 Timothy 1:7. So God doesn't do that to freak us out. God shows us that so that we can be self-aware, so that we know that time is, just like you have a countdown clock on your show,
Yes.
so you know what time is left, so you can share the truth of Jesus, so you can help others, so you're aware that time is running out and others still need to have that hope. That's why he gives us those timelines, so that we know that time is short, to motivate us to not only get right with him, have a relationship, a friendship, but also invite others to do the same thing.
You know, that leads right into where we want to go to. You know, you had some wonderful news where the church has extended the fact that outreach is so very important, and you have been working on something for a long time. Well, with the outreach of our, like today we're doing here, reaching thousands of people on WCOBM TV network, and you have also locally as well been doing the church has been doing a radio ministry as well.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, before I get into that, when you use the word outreach, it's multifaceted, because we
Yes.
want to help the need as well as feed the soul. So, we have community service and ministries that feed the hungry as well as the needs of the physical. But one of the ways that we feed the spiritual is through our weekly radio program. It's on KKVV 1060 every morning during the drive time, 7:30 in the morning. And so we want to basically be feeding the folks spiritually, beyond all the other ways that we do that. And we want to take that to a different level. And so actually we just took an action last night. So this is really the unveiling, the launching
Yes.
of the announcement, is that we're beginning a new ministry, rebranding our radio program, and then eventually expanding it into television and media, just like what you do here.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, we're naming it Light My Path 313.
Light My Path 313.
That's a very strange name,
Yes.
perhaps, for some, but it all has significance. In this dark world, we want to give direction. So that's where the Light My Path comes from.
Okay.
And it comes from the Bible, Psalm 119, verse 105, where Bible says that thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And so what we're going to be starting is exploring the Bible and telling the Bible story, all the way from the beginning in Genesis all the way to Revelation, and retelling the story as you might not have heard it before. Even people that go to church, they don't really know the whole story.
Correct.
And so our journey is going to take us over 313 sermons, which is actually going to be 626 radio programs, telling the whole story seamlessly. And the goal will be to get into the richness of the story, the background, to really dig. And so there'll be video, there'll be where you can read, there'll be audio for the radio, there'll be links to study more, all on one site. And we're also wanting to partner with WCOBM the same way to push those sermons out there. But sometimes people put up their hands and say, I don't want to do anything with religious, I don't want to do anything in the Bible. I just want to invite them to give it a try. As I've observed, Hollywood is tired.
Yes.
They rehash, comic book characters from 50 years ago. They redo movies from 30 years ago. They have a second, third, fourth, fifth volume of movies. It's like they've run out of ideas. And these grand arching themes are always good versus evil. Well, I want to bring people back to an authentic story. That's an incredible story that's given in the Bible. And invite people to listen, invite people to watch and hear the story for the first time or rehear it for a second time, and to get deeper into the story, because the story is amazing. And when you're talking about an overarching theme, good versus evil, you can't get better than what the Bible story is all about.
Yeah, that's
how
true.
Evil messed up what God planned, and how God, the superhero, is making it right. And it's an incredible story of all these different various characters, all these different plots. It's fascinating, and what we can learn from the richness of the Bible story. So that's what this whole goal is about. And so we've rebranded the name, Light My Path 313. 313 comes,
Yes.
there'll be 313 radio programs a year, Sunday through Friday. And that's where the 313 comes in. And people can come to Mountain View Church and hear the live filming of the sermons on Saturdays. But you can also listen online on the radio.
Well, I find that pretty fast because I know when you shared that with me, and that's why I said I wanted you all to take a look at the world of broadcast media, because the world is social media driven. You're reaching so many different platforms with people watching it, and I'm glad that we'll be looking at the opportunity to partner to bring this right into the home. Not only that, it's archived. They can go back and hear it over and over again what you said and how it was sharing. I guess the big question a lot of the people watching and listening, and if you happen to be listening to this on archive, what inspired you the most to go with Light My Path 313? What was the secret behind that?
Well, people go everywhere for direction today.
Yes,
there's all
they do.
Kinds of places to go, books and self-help books and seminars and just internet, everywhere. But the truth is that I have found the greatest wisdom from the Word of God itself. And that scripture, that God's Word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, has always inspired me, because God has given us instruction and wisdom for the immediate decision, right now at our feet, the next step, a lamp unto our feet, so we don't stumble. But He's also given us long-range vision and plan, so we can make sure we're heading the right direction. And I think the more that we are in the story of the Bible, the more that we seek the wisdom that's already there, the more that we stay on the right course. God is a God of love. He's not a mean God. He's not a God that is looking forward to punish us or control us. Even the commandment series we just did at Mountain View Church, we showed the tenderness of God in each commandment, that He's like a father wanting to guide His children into a better experience. And I'm just excited about, in the end, over this 4-year period, it'll take that long to get all 313 sermons, but over the course of that time, there'll be one place where someone can go and hear the whole Bible story at their own pace, whether watching it or listening to it or reading it or getting deeper into it. And that's exciting to me, because I think that's unique. I don't know of any other place where there's one stop, and it's not developed now, but the same name for Facebook and for the website, lightmypath313.com, same for Facebook. And so we'll be developing that. Now, the branding of the radio station has already happened, so the show will now be called Light My Path 313.
Fantastic.
We'll be using our sermon archive, probably starting with the 10 Commandments series we just finished. And our goal is to launch the Bible Story series in January.
Fantastic.
And to have everything in place to move it forward.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, I am definitely excited about our mini audience, because we reach so many different countries, so many different cities, and I just think it's going to be a great opportunity to have the Light My Path 313 story told with the other ways into you all's media mix. I just think that's wonderful. Before we go, would you like to say some hellos to the church, and tell everybody where is the church is located here in Las Vegas?
Yes. Well, hello to all my family and members there at Mountain View Church. It's a great church. We have a full lineup of worship experience every Saturday. We start with a very simple called the Early, which is mainly the sermon. And then we have a unique service called the Family Worship, which is a worship service designed specifically for parents with children. Very interactive. Then we have a classic service, which is more traditional. That's at 10:20. And then 11:30, we have what we call the Main, which is a more contemporary service. And we're located at the corner of Jones and Oakey, 6001 West Oakey. Easy to find.
Easy to find.
And we'd love to have anyone come and experience the worship there. I'm sure you'll enjoy it very much.
Well, listen, I really appreciate the Light My Path 313. I think it's fabulous that you're about to present to the world, and on the outreach that you already are using with radio and tying in, hopefully, the wonderful opportunity for WCOBM Network, and with the reach we have, the social media, and those of you watching it live, when you share it, we will be running this throughout the day on our network, and thanking Scott and everybody for the opportunity. Before I go on the Hall of Fame here with Bruce Commander Garrett, we have to always ask, this could relate to what we talked about or something else, but if you could look in that camera, Dr. B.J. Boyd, and congratulations again,
Yeah,
because I know it's hard work when you did that. But if you could ask the world anything, tell the world anything, what would you want to share with them right now?
Well, that's a big invitation. I think the word love is greatly misunderstood, but to be patient with one another and to be kind to one another. And those two things can transform our society. If we are just looking at our person beside us in the bus or our colleagues, wherever we are, that to see everyone truly as a family member, a brother or sister, and to treat them with respect and kindness and patience, if we all did that, what a transformation that could happen in our society.
Once again, tell everybody that complete name and everything. Your name. Huh?
My name, sure.
Yes. That's
Well,
okay.
I think I can figure that one out.
Yes.
Dr. B.J. Bowles, and I'm senior pastor for the Mountain View Church here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And thank you so much. This is Bruce Commander Garrett, as I always say, and in this wonderful program on the Hall of Fame is take care of the people, and they'll take care of you.